Ruben Amorim's challenge at Manchester United is a significant one. In a press conference, he revealed only having 4 training sessions in 6 weeks, clearly a setback in implementing his philosophy. The lack of consistency hampers his ability to create the fluid, well-drilled team dynamic he thrived on at Sporting. At United, his system, which demands patience and rotation in build-up play, feels rushed. This rush, combined with the team's inability to escape pressing situations, is evident on the pitch. When we look at his time at Sporting, Amorim's success was built on having consistent time with his players, developing a cohesive unit. Sporting fans will tell you that Amorim's brilliance comes from his ability to bring out the best in every player, making them understand their roles clearly. The tactical fluidity he introduced at Sporting allowed his team to play a sophisticated brand of football. He used a high press and ball retention methods that kept teams on edge. At United, however, those same qualities are not yet present. Players are trying to implement Amorim's high-pressure tactics, but it's clear that they are not yet fully on board with his system. This lack of synchronization is evident when they are trying to build attacks from the back. There is no fluidity, no sense of balance in the press. When the team has possession, you can see them struggle with decision-making and urgency. They often rush their passes, misplace key passes in dangerous areas, and struggle with how to manage possession under pressure. At the same time, United's attackers seem too eager to get on the ball, and their movements lack that calm under pressure which was a hallmark of Amorim's Sporting side. That was so evident against Newcastle in their 2-0 loss. The game highlighted just how much United are struggling to build a team that can compete with the top sides in the Premier League and Europe. The pressing is important for Amorim. It is evident in the game against Newcastle, which we will dive into shortly. Ralf Rangnick was very good at this. Most attacks don't lead to goals, they lead to positional changes. What the press does is give you the opportunity to win the ball in dangerous areas and the opposition have to create more scoring opportunities. In that game, we see Man United trying a press. In this instance, the players are pressing, the pressure is on, but one player on the left is the perfect escape. That player should have been closed down. But it's a work in progress because, remember, players invest so much energy into the press that they leave their position. So, an escape from the press leads to deadly counterattacks. That's why physicality and speed are everything in the system. Making them elite again might actually be more difficult than we thought. If you look at elite squads in Europe, what you tend to find is a mix of youth, experience, and players in their peak, with something close to a 30-50-20 split. At the moment, United look weak. That was so evident against Newcastle in their 2-0 loss. The game highlighted just how much United are struggling to build a team that can compete with the top sides in Europe. It's important to note that players' development varies greatly depending on their circumstances. For example, a player like Manu, who has shown flashes of quality, still needs time to adjust to the demands of a top-tier league. Malaysia is full of energy but still developing his defensive instincts at the highest level. Garnacho has bags of potential, but he's far from a finished product. Then you have Mazraoui, who has shown the quality to step up, but he needs a more solidified role within Amorim's system. The challenge for Amorim is balancing the integration of these youngsters with the reality of needing experienced players to guide them. That balance will be the key to United's future success. But relying too heavily on young players carries a risk, especially when your key players, Manu, Malaysia, Garnacho, even Mazraoui, are still developing. If Man United want to be competing with the elite in 2 seasons' time, they're going to have to start buying players at the start of their peak right now. The club can't afford to wait too long. They need to act now to ensure they have the right mix of experience and youth. If they can sell players they don't need anymore, because as we all know, you can't win anything with kids. Additionally, Amorim's tactical system, relying on a back three with wingbacks, is creating defensive vulnerabilities, particularly in the spaces between defenders. Against Newcastle, we saw how easily the opposition could exploit these spaces. The fullbacks, as wingbacks, are often caught too high up the pitch, leaving gaps in behind for the opposition to exploit. If Amram is to continue with this system, he will need his wingbacks to be more disciplined and to track back more effectively when possession is lost. Through the years, Man United have done bad business in the market. They have good contracts for average players. Look at Rashford's contract. They can't easily offload him because of his hefty wages at £300,000 until 2028. Casemiro is on £250,000 per week, with a transfer fee of £60 million. Mason Mount's wages are £200,000, with a transfer fee of £55 million. Joshua Zirkzee at £120,000 wages and a £36.5 million transfer fee until 2029. Then there's Rasmus Højlund at £100,000 per week with a £65 million transfer fee until 2028. Not forgetting Antony, who's on £70,000 wages with an £80 million transfer fee until 2027. This looks messy from any angle, and it doesn't help that the club hired someone who doesn't need most of these players for his system to work. This financial situation creates a headache for Amram. He's inheriting a squad with high wages and many players who do not fit the tactical style he wants to implement. It's going to be difficult for him to offload players on such inflated wages, especially without Champions League football to offer. Selling players like Rashford, Antony, or Casemiro might be challenging due to their high wages, and finding buyers willing to take on these contracts is going to be tough. If United are serious about their future success, they'll need to focus on selling those players who no longer fit the vision, like Rashford, Antony, Casemiro, and even Bruno Fernandes, while a talented player, often drifts wide towards the wingback, abandoning the space that is crucial for transitions. This is an issue that Amram will need to address if he is to build a team capable of competing at the highest level. It's a tactical flaw that compromises United's offensive structure and makes them more vulnerable in transition. United's current predicament highlights the turbulence of the club's culture, where decisions have been made on the fly, and the direction of the club often seems unclear. This instability is not only on the pitch but also within the boardroom. With managers coming and going, and not all signings delivering, Amram faces an uphill battle. The real question remains, will he be given the time and support needed to make his mark at Manchester United? Time is of the essence. The players need time to adjust to his system, and he needs time to shape his squad into something competitive. However, with the pressure mounting from the fanbase and the club's hierarchy, Amram's future at United may depend on his ability to adapt quickly and produce results. The next few months will be critical in determining whether or not Amram has what it takes to succeed at one of the most demanding clubs in the world.